milestone moment for a Pittsburgh icon.
Malkin dusts it off. Right in front of the chance, backhand score! It's Brian Russ with the goal! Rarefied air to Hall of Fame career, 1,200 points for Evgeny Malkin.
A 2nd and 9. Pickett lines up a deep ball, separation, touchdown, George Pickens!
Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. In the BPTV studio, 5100 West Library Avenue, the municipal building. Police are right across from us. It's going to be our 13th anniversary in a couple months, Smoking Jim, on my second birthday of the year, October 11th. So, great to see all of you. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 21, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in the greater Pittsburgh area, all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and the greater Pittsburgh area. Thanks for watching us on BPTV. We appreciate you. And on Facebook, we're holding right around 7,295. So we appreciate all of that. You know I got to bring up YouTube. We hit 253 subscribers, so thank you for that. I'm on my smartphone. Just one more would help out. Get us one more by the end of the show. We're trying to get to 1,000, so appreciate you watching there. And we love all the great feedback on Facebook here. Teresa Mariano, Chuck McElroy, and Ann Harder are watching. Ann Harder looking good. Thank you, Ann. We appreciate you tuning in. And I know you got special people to watch. Peggy Rohde's watching. Can't wait to hear her and Nick are watching it from Rochester, New York. And I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Smoking Jim Frazier, Chip Hayner, and Nick Callis is back with us. All right, I got a couple promos. I'm going to see what Chance can do with the promos right here live. And this is a Party in the Park on May 25th. So that's like 11 days away. There you go. You can read it.
Boom!
Tickets are $40. Look at that. Look at that shirt of mine. Blends in the background there. All right, that's the one promo. Second one is very important. It's first annual Bethel Park Art and Music Festival, Saturday, July 27th from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And it's at the Bethel Park Community Center and the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. And there'll be 3 or 4 bands. There'll be artists, you name it. And it's, guess what? It's for me and Smoking Jim. It's free. Because if it's free, it's for me. Check out that day. Plenty of opportunities, a food truck, entertainment all over the place. Where's this promo at, guys? There we go. Thanks for the shot on me. I was looking sharp there. All right. Now we're going to go to the regular promos in 10 seconds. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria in the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com. Hey, thank you for watching our promos. We appreciate you supporting us on BPTV, and we try to help out in the community. Johnny Mariano's watching. Ralph Williams is watching.
That's
hello.
my man.
Ralph said hello, guys. Hello, Ralph. Peggy Rohde said, hi, Al. Yes, we are watching your great show. Hello to all. Watching from Rochester, New York, Nick and Peggy. Thank you so much again. Jane Leffler's watching. Hello. Looking forward to another great show. Jane, thank you for your compliments. Paul Haley's watching. Pete Kasich's watching. Paul Haley watching on Facebook Live from South Carolina. All right. Let's do What's on Your Mind. Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Here it comes.
you got to see Levine. I tell you what, man. Talking to Chance and Mikey and Marco, Rhodey, Wilson, they always ask me what I do. And I'm so busy sometimes I never sit back and think about it. But one thing that I've done for the last 25 years is been the vice president of Achieving Greatness, where we put on programs to raise money for disadvantaged youth. And 10 years ago, we created a program to honor Cyril Weck Humanitarian Awards. Here's a guy that's world-renowned that nobody really was honoring. And for 10 straight years, including this past March, Cyril Weck showed up, signed autographs, talked to people. I tell you what, he was the youngest 93-year-old you ever want to see. Went to the same high school as my mom, Fifth Avenue High School.
My dad went there.
Your dad went there. A lot of greats went there. And I just heard that he passed away yesterday. Rest in peace, One of the all-time greats, Cyril Wecht.
Let me add a little.
I know you got great personal.
Yeah, I do have. I was friends with Cyril. As smart as he was, as world-renowned as he was, and what a great man he was, you knew he was from Pittsburgh. He never forgot his roots. He grew up in the Hill District with my dad and my uncle and their families. My dad said one story when I was a kid. It always stuck in my mind because we met Cyril Wecht, and he told me who he is, and this is probably like in the 60s. And he goes, Alan, you know how great and smart Cyril is? And I go, yeah, one of the smartest guys. He goes, his dad made him do violin every day and read the dictionary.
I didn't know that.
How about that?
I didn't know that.
What kid has to do that?
I didn't.
And yet he overcame all of that, and look at how great he was in politics and dealing with people. And look at JFK when he said that pristine bullet didn't create any damage. Smoking Jim doesn't know about the pristine bullet, or maybe some of our younger folks with JFK, and he was assassinated. Yeah, he was assassinated. You missed that when you're growing up. Most people remember where they were. But yeah, Cyril was a great man, and one of my favorite stories, I got to share this. It just happened. Nick, they do a speaker series here in Bethel Park.
I'm familiar, yes.
Well, guess who was one of the guests?
Really?
Cyril Wecht.
Wow.
Now, my friend, the great artist, Vince Ornato.
That's my man.
Yeah. Well, he goes, Al, you want to hear Cyril? I go, I was planning on it. He goes, well, I'll meet you there. So we go in there. I go up to Cyril, I'm Al Levine. He goes, you're Saul's son. Nice to see you.
He remembered.
Yeah, and he was talking for a few minutes about the Hill District and my dad. And my dad had passed away a few years ago, and he said, my prayers to you. Well, after the show, everybody's asking questions. Vince asked a few. He'd seen him 3 or 4 times. He's answering everybody's question. We get done. People are leaving. He had 3 boxes of books. He had sold a bunch. So I go up, me being the talking machine, I go, hey, Cyril, I'll help you get your boxes to the car. We'll get a cart, and I'll take them down to your car. Where are you? Lower lot at the community center, about 100 feet away. So I go down, put them in. He goes, I'll get that. I put all 3 boxes in. I go, we can wheel it back. He goes, no, put it in the back. I'll take you to your car.
Wow.
I go, Cyril, I'm right up on the other side of the door, 150, 200 feet away. I can walk. He goes, get in the car, Al. So I get in the car, take him up, get the cart out. He goes, hey, I go out here to the left and then hit South Park, then 88. I go, Cyril, you're on the ball. He was sharp as a tack. This is like 8-10 years ago. Next morning, I get a phone call. I missed it, and he left a message. Here's the message I kept for 5 years. He goes, Alan, I found a black glove. It's a very nice winter glove. In my car, it's my wife's car. It's not her glove, but you have a nice glove. I'm putting it in one of my envelopes at work. So you just ask the secretary, tell her your name, and she'll give you the envelope with your glove. Now, he's a coroner, he's everything, so I'm thinking he's putting me in an examination envelope, my glove.
A coroner had your glove?
Yeah, he had the glove. And
a glove.
It's a black glove, and it fit. So I go in the next day to his office downtown, right? So I go, secretary's there and another lady's at the desk, and I go, I'm Al Levine. They go right to the next thing. They go, Mr. Levine. I go, you could just call me out. Here's your glove. It's in a brown envelope. I go, can I open it? They go, yeah. I open it. You know how they have the rope, the little line there, or thread there? I had to unwrap it, and I pull it out. And I put it on, and I go, thank you, and I go, it's it. And they both go, you know what, you have some nice gloves. That's my memory of Cyril. I'm glad I could share that. May he rest in peace. And he's one of the smartest, greatest men that I met in my life. And I know a few thousand people, including smoking.
Whether they're willing to admit it or not.
Thank you, Chipper. All right, Smoking Jim, carry on, but thanks for letting me share the story.
No, I was done.
Yeah, and by the way, Robert Stone's watching. Dan Harisco, the soccer coach we honored. Thank you again for showing up, sir, and thank you for all the good things you do with your team, and they love you. Tom Eschenbaugh is watching. Chief McElroy, my grandmother worked for Dr. Wecht, and dated my aunt before he was married.
Really?
R.I.P. Tom Eschenbaum. Great story. See, Chief's family, his dad, we called him Jimmy Mack. He was Jimmy McElroy. He used to take my grandfather to work because where I was born, 105 Pride Street, that was my grandparents' house. So it's a small world with the McElroy family and others that grew up around there. So, bunch of stories. That's story time. Whatever Smoking Jim says, the disclaimers in advance. It's his own opinion. Does not represent any of us in Bethel Park or Pittsburgh Sportsline. Carry on.
No, I was done.
Oh, okay. Boy, that was easy. I'm going to come up with serial stories the next time.
There you go.
Chip Hayner.
Jim got more legs on that than he thought.
I know. Look what we did. Wow, that went on for about 5 minutes. Sorry. The talking machine was talking. Chip Hayner, your turn. What's on your mind?
So, last week, a lot of a hubbub around Pittsburgh Sports.
What happened?
The next coming was going to make his Major League debut on Saturday. Interestingly enough,
I watched it.
My season ticket package, lo and behold, who had tickets for that game?
Chip.
This guy. So,
And Stephanie, too, his sidekick.
It was kind of an interesting day because we were expecting things to be pretty much of a zoo on the North Shore on Saturday. So we went down early at about noon. We went over to Soho and we had some lunch, and the weather came in and it started raining cats and dogs. And so I said to Steph, I said, those people that are standing out there in line, I said, I bet you they're pretty miserable right now. I said, two seats opened up at the bar, and I was like, honey, you feel like nursing a beer for the next 2 hours? She had no problem doing that. So we sat inside in the high and dry, and the rain passed, and it turned out to be a pretty nice day. Went over to watch Paul Skeen's Major League debut.
Yeah.
And, there was a little bit of a buzz in the crowd.
Hold it. How many people showed up?
Well, they said that there was probably about 34,000.
That's right.
And some change, which is not a sellout, but considering the weather condition, wasn't a bad showing.
Well, Pittsburgh people are fickle with weather.
Well, Pittsburgh people are event people. You know what I mean? They're going to show up for
Grand openings, first time pitching.
Yeah,
just go to a new restaurant.
Fireworks.
Right. Go to a new restaurant. They're packed for the first week.
Yeah. Well, so
Just saying.
So watching Paul Skeen's pitch his first game, you could tell that he was not completely locked into what he was doing. It was, I guess you could call it opening day jitters. He only lasted 4 innings, and looking at the way he performed, I think this young man's got a nice future ahead of him. I think he does need to learn a little bit more about his craft. He wasn't locating his fastball as well as he had been, but he's also a creature of habit. And what happened was,
Tell him how you
the same Cubs lineup that he pitched against Saturday.
Sure, second time around.
Now they've seen him. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. So, he pitched well. When he left the game in the 5th inning with no outs. 84 pitches. He had reached his pitch count. Pirates had a 6-1 lead. And then the wheels fell off the bus, quite literally. And before you knew it, they had walked in 6 runs. The Pirates were losing in between a 2-hour and 20-minute rain delay. But ultimately, the Pirates ended up coming back and winning the game. And really, that's the only thing that's important about it. I think Paul Skeen's made a good opening appearance. I personally, and I want to give him a grade, and I take after my good friend here, Smoking Jim. My grade for his performance on Saturday night, I would give him a B-. And I give him a B- because you think about the number of pitches that he threw. He only got credit for pitching 4 innings, even though he pitched into the fifth.
Yeah.
And I just expect more out of a starting pitcher than 4 innings. And I understand all of the factors there. And I don't say it was a bad start, but it was a start. And there's a lot of promise for him. And I want to watch him develop as the season goes on. So speaking of developing as the season goes on, I listen to talk radio, and I have to chuckle at most of the things that I hear because I can't believe that there's so many geniuses out there. But, we're at the quarter pole for the Major League Baseball season, okay?
Yeah.
Using a horse racing analogy.
Understand that.
And,
Yes, sir.
Right now, we're 42 games in. The Pirates are 19-23. And, the Pirates very easily could have been 23-19. There's a number of games that the Pirates could have won, maybe should have won, but didn't win. But that's the nature of the game of baseball. The Pittsburgh Pirates went into this season with what was supposed to be an extremely strong bullpen and a very weak starting pitching staff. And the interesting thing is the Pirates have one of the strongest starting pitching staffs in baseball. And now with the addition of Paul Skeens, it's only made it stronger. And they've got one of the worst bullpens in the league right now, especially over the last few weeks.
Wow.
I believe in the last 22 innings that the Pirates bullpen has pitched, they've given up 23 runs. That is not something that's going to continue. It's something that, again, needs to be fixed. A couple of weeks ago, Nicholas and I kind of butted heads a little bit.
Yeah, why are you talking about radio people, too? Who is it not genius?
I am not naming anybody because
No, what'd they say, though? What was the...
Well, everybody's got all the solutions to all the problems that the Pirates have. Okay? Everybody knows exactly how to fix what's broken with the Pirates.
Ding.
But there again, this is Major League Baseball, and failure is more frequent than success in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, especially when you're pitchers and you have control of everything. But yeah, no, you're right.
So...
Yeah.
But,
Ding.
Nick, do I have an answer to all their problems? The answer to that is no. It seems like the Pirates are starting to get it right with their bats a little bit more. The offense has come to light. They've hit 10 home runs in the last 3 games. Okay, that is a step in the right direction.
How can you taunt Major League hitting overall, but be like, yeah, the Pirates are going to figure it out when all but 2 hitters in the lineup are batting below 230? And at least 5 of them are batting in the 100s.
Right, and you know what? For the life of me, I can't understand why I look at rosters up and down Major League Baseball, and it's an epidemic across Major League Baseball.
But the
not just with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Pirates are in the bottom 3 overall. That's
right.
not.
But,
that's just facts. That's not me being a genius. That's just a fact.
I mean, it is a fact.
Ding. I can't wait for Nick to speak. Carry on, Chip.
So how do you fix
I'm
that
excited
I'm
now.
asking you, how do you go, ooh, Major League hitters in general just are terrible, and then you're like, oh, the Pirates are among the worst of the worst. But they're going to figure it out.
Well, you know
I don't
what?
get that.
Okay, so wait a minute. So if they're among the worst of the worst, and they're only 19-23, that means they're only 4 games under 500. That means that they're not out of it. So how could they possibly have any degree of success if they're among the worst of the worst?
No, we're not talking about success. I'm saying, how do you personally make fun of hitters in this era, but root for a team and just automatically assume that a team batting so poorly is just going to magically figure it out?
Well, because
that's the question. That's a question to you,
here's the question.
Not about how
it
successful the Pirates
can't
are.
get any worse.
I like that. There you go.
All right, we got the points. I let the debate go. Chip can do the final. It's his segment.
So
Then you're up.
And to be very honest with you, looking at the season to date, I'm not surprised at the way things have fallen. I mean, there are problems. There are many. And you know what? This team will be a better team as we move forward through the season than they are right now. They do have to find a left-handed hitting first baseman because they don't have one.
Well, here, let me put one fact in. With 3 blown saves, what would our record be?
You'd have 3 more wins.
500.
Math.
3 off of 23 is 20. 3 on the 17 is 20. You'd be 500. What would we be talking about then? All right, let's move on. What's on your mind, Nick Callis?
Well, first of all, if any of you use X, formerly known as Twitter, I'm on a goal. The fans trying to get me to 2,000 followers because I reached 1,000 this past week, and I'm happy about that. So,
way to go!
If you have X, just hit the follow button. Help me out because Crowley's going to get punished on Friday if I get to 2,000. So there's added incentive there if you're a fan of the fan as well. But I also want the followers because I'm happy about that.
You only got 3 days.
Yeah, that's right. So we got to see. I mean, I got 300 this morning just from talking about it. So I figure if I talk about it more, maybe some of you out there can help. If not, it's totally cool. I like the Sportsline people who don't use Twitter either, and but it's just a thing right now. I also found out that I have musical talents apparently too with rapping and stuff, which was fun. So I made some music this week that was aired, and I always kind of had a dream. Like I usually just write music for fun. And for those of you, I don't think I've ever talked about this, but
You have not.
I just kind of like play it on a keyboard to like relax sometimes, and I'd play little scales on my keyboard. And I was always I wrote a couple songs just when I was feeling certain emotions. And also I was like, man,
How long ago?
2018, so about 6 years.
I wanted to get that in perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, songs are just kind of sat, and I used to just do it for fun or to express emotions. And I was always like, man, what if I ever sell one of my songs? What if one of my songs ever makes it on the radio? I was thinking about that back when I was still in college. Just why not? And then they sat around, and then we were talking about those of you who know Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Maybe you don't, but maybe you do. They're two rappers that are just fighting for no reason. So we were talking about on the show at the Fan how we were gonna start a beef with another show for no reason, just like the rappers did. And the guys,
Okay, come on. We take the challenge.
And the guys let me write the beats and stuff. But it was really cool, just like playing music, and I could say that my music did indeed make it on the radio. So cool there, because they played.
Congrats.
They played a track
Hey,
that I
one
made.
side note. Nick went to boxing with us, and the rappers were playing, the DJ was playing rap music. Nick sang to every song,
Every song.
and Smoking Jim goes, "You're white."
You did say that.
Yeah.
You did.
I had to share that. He goes, "You're white. How do you know that?" He's singing word for word all of these rap songs. So I salute you, Nick.
So
Will you
Yeah.
be able to show it on TV next week? So we can
the rap.
Yeah. we
Show
would
it,
love
or
to
you,
see it. Yeah.
there's no music video, so you probably just hear it.
Okay.
And it's
Thanks for clarifying
it's like,
that.
It's
He's smoking,
it's
and
not
we're
in
not.
I'm gonna say no. It's not in great taste. If you follow me on social media, you should be able to find it somewhere. No, I'm not gonna show it on Sportsline though, because I don't want to waste time with that. And also, it's not.
Thank you.
It's not in the greatest taste. So out of respect for Al, and
Maybe
his
get
time.
P. Diddy to put a video.
Oh, okay, we're moving on from that. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Not
Nick.
touching that one. Let's talk about
How about baseball?
the Pirates. Wow.
Extra entertainment tonight.
All right, let's just recover from that. All right, I can't with smoking.
No, go ahead.
So look, the Pirates have been not good, but they've been fine. Now I'll say that they've been playing well enough to be like exciting, but I'm not even about them being in the exciting phase at this point. Like I want them to be a legitimate threat. Exciting doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing well or they're where they want to be. It has been a surprise that the bullpen has been failing things with the starting pitching has been serviceable and has kept the team in games. But from an offensive perspective, I'm still going to emphasize this point, which is that right now the offense isn't doing well enough. They've shown better signs of offense these last few games, a couple games, which is fine, which is good. With Quinn Priester pitching tonight, they haven't given him runs, so maybe that trend will continue. I'm not sure. But here's the big problem that I'm noticing. Number one, Rowdy Tellez is still in the lineup. So that's a problem because he's batting with Austin Hedges' numbers as a left-handed hitting power first baseman. And so we can't have that. That's
A
not
blast
gonna
from the past.
work. But also, I think a big problem
Last year.
Another big problem, perhaps, is that when we talk about the complexities of baseball and the overanalysis of baseball, I recently found out that before yesterday, the Pirates had used 40 unique lineups of the 41 games that they had played in the season, which to me is just nonsense. If there's no consistency, then the lineup would work at some points, and then they would change it, and then things would change, and then the team would play worse. That to me can't happen. And when I talk about the coaches, that's a decision. And Derek Shelton on the Fan today even said it. He said, "I make the lineups." So if he makes the lineups and he's making the active decision to scramble the lineups all the time, even though one might be working and one clearly doesn't, That's on the coaches. The hitting coach is responsible for the approaches of the hitters. The manager is in charge of making the lineup. Then in that case, like, stop scrambling the lineups. That's something where I think if they got on a more consistent basis and used the hitters that they have right now to their strengths, they would play better, and they might have more consistent success on offense and give themselves better chances to win games. Why Connor Joe hasn't been a more consistent piece so far, part of me understands it because he did kind of slow down last season, but also he's like the strongest hitter this season, and it was an interesting note yesterday where they won, but you had Nick Gonzalez bunt 2 runners into scoring position, and then Tellez is brought up to the plate, and he gets struck out with the same low pitches in the zone that he can't reach, that he can't hit well, and he struck out. Why not pitch Connor Joe in that situation? I'm not buying the matchup move. Connor Joe's hot. Give yourself an extra chance to score some runs. That to me makes more sense as a manager to make that decision there, just to let Rowdy Tellez try one more time. But also, there's a theory out there too that Rowdy Tellez is getting one more chance at Milwaukee to figure it out, or he's going to get sent to the minors unless he's claimed off waivers by whoever's going to want a guy, unless a left-handed hitter batting in the 100s. Playing first base, probably not, so we'll see. But I heard that Milwaukee's his last chance to figure it out, so maybe we'll be taken away from him. But also the Pirates, too, in closing here, just need a role player as well. Somebody that can be the person you can rely on to be a hero. The Pirates can't pay that many players. We know that. It's a smaller market. You're not going to go and overspend to take a chance on certain players. So some of the good players that they have need to be relied on. It's a shame that Hayes right now is continuing to suffer from what seems to be a perpetual back injury. Pirates are saying that it's not that, so we can only hope for the best. Brian Reynolds, when he comes through, as you noticed in the last few series, when he comes through and hits well, the team seems to hit well around him. O'Neal Cruz is getting hot. So those types of players need to be the ones that come through. They don't have to be universal superstars, but they've got to come through. So, again, just in summary, it's like the offense is still, I think, the biggest weak point, and I don't know if they're just going to figure it out if there are certain aspects that they're being set up to fail, or if certain players individually are not coming through when you really need them to come through. And that's what's on my mind.
So, just I heard an interesting thing as I was listening to the interview with Derek Shelton today. It's 30 teams in Major League Baseball. There's 2 of them that play pretty much the same consistent lineup, game in and game out, and that's the Dodgers and the Braves. Pretty much every other team flip-flops their lineup like on a regular basis.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Because there's so much of a reliance on analytics and matchups and all this, and I agree with you. I think that they should have a lineup. I mean, the way I always remember watching the Pirates play growing up for the decades that I've watched them, there was always a consistent, 4 or 5, 6
at least,
guys in a row
6
that
guys,
had the same spot in the batting order, and there was a great deal of success that followed.
Lumber Company.
I am not a very big fan of the analytics and the matchups and the, if there's 4 clouds in the sky, well, this guy got a hit the last time that happened, so let's put him in the lineup tonight. I mean,
we're not ding-dinging.
I don't agree with it. It's the way things are trending in baseball, and it's a part of baseball that I'm not really happy about.
Okay.
No, and little tweaks can be made, but it's like McCutchen should never have been a cleanup hitter, and I've maintained that from the beginning of the season. That just should have never happened. He's not that guy anymore, and I don't think he was ever a guy that you would rely on as a cleanup hitter. So that's just one example. Cruz, not a leadoff guy to me. So, and I've maintained that from the beginning of the season too. So that's just that's what's on my mind.
Point and counterpoint. Great segment. Appreciate it. We got a couple people. We have a first time ever happen. Tom Eschenbaugh, Gavin, Maya, and Maria just sang me happy birthday while watching you guys. Happy birthday to you. Paul Haley, Reynolds went 5 for 5 over the Brewers. Backs up Nick on that point. Ann Harder, the disclaimer with what happened. Ralph Williams, Tellez is a bum. Ralph Williams, Ralph's on fire here. Sheldon changes his underwear every inning.
That's too much information.
Tom Eschenbaugh, will Hayes ever get healthy as a Pirate, or will he get healthy when they trade him this year? Good point. Rhonda Burrows is watching. Paul Haley, Lumber Company, we are family, and Lumber and Lightning. Yes, sir. How about a bug on a rug, too? So, yep, we got all those things going.
Bloop and a blast.
Bloop and a blast. We can name all those. How about Bob Prince, the green weenie? He invented it. Can you say that nowadays? No. What's on my mind? With all this stuff out here and the distractions, the death of Cyril, Paul Skeens. I was a pitcher. I've seen other pitchers come up at 19 years old, Bob Feller, a couple 16-year-olds, I think a Nuxel or a couple others like that, and different players. How do you handle pressure when there is immense media pressure and you're the number one draft pick in a league? Well, I thought Skeens did the best he could under the situation like that. Was he perfect? No way. Sandy Koufax wasn't good for a couple years. Nolan Ryan, the GOAT, what did he do his first couple years? People were afraid to stand in on him. He was breaking through the fence in the back behind home plate because he was throwing so hard. Guess what? They learn from failing and frustration and even age. Nick, how were you 6 years ago when you wrote rap? You didn't know it'd be on the radio. Now you're 20, 25. Yes, I was stuttered on that. And you're on the radio with music.
There you go.
My point is, Skeens threw all those 100-mile-per-hour pitches, and I could see he was tight because his control's usually good, and he kept missing stuff low and off of the plate. He has only 6 pitches to throw, and it's unheard of. And he used maybe 4 of them, I think, maybe 5. So he'll do better. What stunned me is, all right, he gets yanked out of there. I'm happy to watch it. I watched it. I never saw this in my whole baseball career and watching baseball since 7 years old. You walk one batter. You walk a second batter on 8 pitches in a row. Walk-in runs. If I'm a pitcher with analytics, I got to look at what's the odds that he throws a strike. Oh, 100%. He throws another ball. I'm getting the guy out of there. And I'm thinking, I'm the manager. We don't want to lose like this. And we walked in 4 runs.
And we even walked in runs after
Yeah.
the rain delay. But prior to that, the kid that came out,
Nicholas.
struck out
First
the 2
2.
best hitters on the Cubs, and the Cubs, they struck out Bellinger and Morrell. Struck those 2 out, then couldn't find the strike zone
Well, my thing is, I know
for the next 4 batters.
when I pitch, Chip, if I threw 4 balls in a row, my coach was out there. And he would tell me, hey, Alan, what the hell's wrong? Are you hurt? I'd go, no. He goes, well, throw the next one as a strike. Who did that?
But they only get 4 visits to the mound.
Wait a second. You just had 2 walks in a row after 2 strikeouts.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm old school, Nick. So maybe none of this makes sense because, hey, we almost lost the game and they walked in all those runs. Never, ever saw anything like that in my life.
Old school didn't abuse mound visits. The new school did. That's the problem there.
Old school sent people out sometimes after one pitcher, another time bringing a guy out to visit the mound.
No, I meant like they used to do it
No, they
with
did.
etiquette before. Then
Yeah.
they
I
abused
tell you
later.
who was the
No,
biggest
no.
culprit. It was Dusty Baker.
Yeah.
Dusty Baker could turn a baseball game into an all-day event.
Yadier Molina was the one I remember growing up watching. As a catcher, he would always go out and call mound visits to the ball.
No, I understand your point now. I mistook it a little bit. But to say I'm in shock that happened. And I watched it happen. And, Chip, I'm thinking, my dad is spinning in the grave. All my coaches and friends are going, I'll say it, what the hell's going on? No visit.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about dropping the ball.
That's why.
The lesson to be learned there is, and maybe some of the Pirates batters could learn from this lesson. Don't swing at pitches that aren't in the strike zone.
All right, we gotta move on. Fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac, 10 seconds away. Come on. He's on.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. A lot of people may not know this, but I'm a black man. And
Since when?
And the one thing I hate, Al Levine, the talking machine, and Chip, is
How about
the
me?
first black this.
He
the
forgot
first
about
black
you.
that,
You're a rapper.
The first black swimming coach, the first black dentist, the first black so-called doctor. Listen, I recognize just a couple blacks who were pioneers. You know, Jackie Robinson, that's the first black. Jack Johnson, the boxer, first heavyweight champion of the world. And
Were they black?
And Jesse Owens. That's the
They're
only
all
two
black?
I recognize.
That was 3.
But I recognize another pioneer. That was a very good friend of mine. And he was an all-star baseball player and developed a relationship with another superstar athlete by the name of Joe Namath when they was young kids. And they played baseball way up and they developed a friendship. And that was D.
In
Thompson.
Beaver Falls?
And that was D. Thompson. And D. Thompson, back then, you know, it was hard to break into the journalism market. But Joe Namath was such a big star, and they kept their friendship, that he was able to get interviews with Joe Namath that nobody else could get. And then he developed a relationship with Roberto Clemente. And in 1974, through hard work and dedication, they hired him to cover the Pittsburgh Steelers and some of the other teams. He worked there for years.
I remember
I
that.
worked with him for 10 years on Championship Chase on Channel 11. What a gentleman, what a story that he told me, and he passed away this week. So rest in
I'm sorry to
peace.
hear that.
Rest in peace,
I
D.
read his
Thompson.
obituary this morning.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
So that's what's on.
Thank you for the tribute. And disclaimer is this is not February. We're going to move on. May he rest in peace. Chip Hayner in 10 seconds, trivia time. Come on.
Well, good evening, everybody. So, thinking about the improvement in the Pirates pitching staff, there's a couple of guys that stand out this year. Of course, Paul Skeens, because he's the #1 draft pick and he's the fastest first overall pick.
I saw that.
His major league debut. And then Jared Jones. Jared Jones has just been quite refreshing to watch him pitch. And so that led me to thinking, okay, so right now I think the Pirates could potentially have a couple of future Cy Young Award winners on their pitching staff.
You heard this first.
Now will that happen? Time will tell. But that got me
Hold it,
thinking
that's
about,
Smoking Jim, and it'll happen.
that got me thinking about a couple of things of some of the past Pirates award winners. And I was wondering, who besides Doug Drabeck of the Pittsburgh Pirates has won Cy Young Award?
Yeah.
And I go all the way back to the year I was born. The Deacon, Vernon Law.
I was going to bring up Vernon Law,
Vernon
yeah.
Law and Doug Drabeck are the only two.
His
Cy
family
Young
grew up in Greentree.
See, there you go. So, they got
Played
me
ball
thinking
with them,
about
son.
some of the other award winners, and I'm going to go through a list of them. I'm going to go through them rather quickly.
Okay.
Okay. MVP awards. Last one was in 2013, Andrew McCutcheon. Barry Bonds did it twice. Dave Parker did it once. Willie Stargell did it once. Roberto Clemente was the league MVP. Dick Grote did it. Wow. And Paul Wainer in 1927. That was the year of the
Yankees.
Row Yankees team.
They crushed us in the World
Pirates
Series.
have had one Rookie of the Year, Jason Bay in 2004.
Really?
Manager of the Year, Clint Hurdle did it in 2013. Jim Leland did it twice. Gold Gloves, pitchers, Harvey Haddix,
Ooh,
Bobby Shantz, and Rick Ruschel.
I remember Rick.
Catcher, Tony Pena, Mike LaValliere, Jacob Stallings in 2021. Second base, Bill Mazeroski with 8. Jose Lind with 1. Third base, Key Brian Hayes last year.
Wow.
Shortstop, Gene Alley.
I loved them.
Gene Alley and Mazeroski, the Hoover job. There was not a better double play combination.
And a
in Major League
Hoover
Baseball.
was a vacuum cleaner.
Wow.
Jay Bell, 1993. The outfield, Roberto Clemente with 12 Golden Gloves. Bill Verdon with 1. Dave Parker with 3. Andy Van Slyke with 5.
Wow.
Barry Bonds with 3. Nate McLough with 1. Andrew McCutcheon with 1. Starling Marte with 2. And Corey Dickerson
Yeah.
with 1 in 2018.
That was our Renner player or something.
So, just an idea of some of the, Pirates of the past. Do we have any future award winners in our lineup now? Obviously, well, we do not know. Yes, sir.
Was there a typo? Because I didn't see Al Oliver.
Al Oliver did not win any of the awards that I had mentioned.
Now, what's so funny about that?
I'm sorry, I don't get that one.
No, because I've said Dave Parker should go in the Hall of Fame next, and everybody keeps saying Al Oliver.
But if you look at their career
I
statistics,
never looked at Al as a Hall of Fame.
Listen, if you look
And
at
I
their
know
career
baseball.
statistics,
You don't know
Al
baseball.
Oliver's statistics are better than Dave Parker's. If you just look at the statistics, plain
Well,
and simple.
here, I'll
Who
play.
looks at numbers anymore? Why don't we just look at our naked eye tests? Who swung the bat and hit the ball? Hall of Fame.
Okay, I'll give Smokin' Jim a little credit, Chip. For 7 years, Dave Parker was one of the best players in baseball. Then he snorted up the first base line. Then he snorted up the third base line. And you know where the batter's box is? There was never a batter's box when he played.
That's why they never called anything foul out right field. They couldn't find the line. Dave did.
He was known for it.
Oh,
And Smokin' Jim, that's called a disgrace. Just thought I'd bring that up. Chip, thank you.
You're just on an island, smoking island over there.
He is. Move back away a little bit. Let Chance get a close-up as he's floating away. All right. We got Nick, VIP Callis time. 10 seconds.
Hi. I have an opinion. You know that. You just saw the graphic. Paul Skeens is a pitcher, and he's the best thing that ever happened in life. That's the opinion. No, just kidding. Let's dissect it a little bit though, because it felt like there was so much buildup, which was wonderful. But I'm looking at it from how the game went, and I feel like the entire game and how it played out did not make me feel like it was so much about Skeens as so it was about like the Pirates trying to claw back and make up for walking in a bunch of runs, right? We already talked about that.
Yes.
And I think that the game kind of distracted from his start.
It did.
And the rain delay and all the other factors kind of distracted away from that. And I had kind of been thinking about it like, I feel like there's so many high expectations of this pitcher that anything that he does could be a disappointment because we expect almost an automatic result of success from him, which could mean, like think about if he didn't strike out Mike Tauchman to open the game, how disappointed we all might have been. And I was even thinking like, man, if he doesn't do this, because everybody talks up these players so much, like they're supposed to do all this great stuff. And then sometimes I think we forget, we lose that human element of the game because we're always just so hyped about stuff. Now, Pirates fans have been starved for a championship for years.
yes.
And I like to just remind, everybody that I wasn't born, that was actually...
What year were you born?
19 years after they won their last World Series. So if anybody's starved, I'm with you because I've never seen one. So,
1998.
there you go, math.
You heard it.
So
Math from KO.
yeah, so...
A bonus here.
So it's just become a thing though with this day and age though. Like I've even talked about Bryce Harper and how I don't like him because he was just everybody was saying that he was great. Like all these media members are saying he's great, and he hit a ball over a railroad track and 500 feet. and all that stuff, and then he came to the majors, and I mean, he had a couple like great years, but he's also struggled immensely in his time. But everybody's just like, oh, he's going to the Hall of Fame. Look at this guy, and that's just what we do in this society now, which I'm not really all about, and I think it takes away from the ability of fans to be able to truly appreciate the players that exist, because we can't just sit there and accept what happens. If our expectations of players do not come true, we get upset. And that's why I reflect on Paul Skeens' outing neutrally, and I say, okay, he pitched 4+. There's a lot of rain involved. The hype up of this was incredible. Chip touched on it too. His routine was definitely thrown off. There's a lot of hype for him. I don't think it's going to be like that again when he pitches. So all the hype up that surrounded it, plus the rain, it left for an outing where I thought that he did the best he could do, and he displayed a lot of impressive results. But at the same time, if you're looking at it from the other perspective of what we expect from him, it might have seemed like a disappointment. I hope all of you, and you can comment on Facebook too and talk to us, or on YouTube and talk to us. I hope you weren't disappointed by it, because I think that when we kind of step back and take that human approach to baseball, we should alleviate the expectations from him and just accept, what's this guy going to do? When you're talking about draft analysis, it's totally fine to talk about what his strengths and weaknesses are and what his potential could be, but not to the point where we want to expect every time he goes out, what's he going to do? Is he going to strike out 27 batters? No, that's not going to happen.
Only one guy's done that.
Is he going to win every game? No. And I remember the Yankees too with Masahiro Tanaka when he came over from Japan in 2014. He hadn't lost a game in Japan. And then he really struggled with Major League pitching. But everybody was like, oh, this guy's great. Is he going to lose a game? And you have these just expectations, and especially in a place like New York where they weren't met, it just seems like you don't appreciate what the guy's worth because he didn't meet your expectations. Don't do that with Paul Skeens as he continues to go through. And it doesn't sound like anybody on the panel here was disappointed in his start, which is great. And again, I hope you guys out there as well are not disappointed. And I just hope as we continue to watch prospects. I've held this opinion since I started on this show. And Paul Skeens just kind of maybe want to refresh that with everybody, that just accept the guy for what he's doing. He's expected to do great. We know that. I'm not ready to talk about Cy Young Awards. I'm not ready to talk about all that stuff in the future. I like Jared Jones, too, for him this season because he embodies what you didn't expect to happen. You're pleasantly surprised because this dude that you never heard about had a great spring training, and then he got the call, and he was like the Pirates' secret weapon. Where'd this guy come from throwing triple-digit, four-seam fastballs and messing hitters up.
And striking out a lot.
Right. So, when you listen to draft analysis and when you listen to people say he's going to be the next big whatever, just don't always take that so strongly and hold your expectations at a limit and really just absorb how these players do things in the moment. Especially a guy who's a 1-1 overall pick. Just embrace how he does. Now, as his career unfolds, if he has a bunch of collectively poor starts, you can start complaining and then talking about scouting and what are we doing. But as he makes his debut and unfolds his career in his first year here, just take it for what it is. Don't try to let your expectations determine how you feel.
And that is great advice, because I think really we should judge people on what they do, not what we expect them to do. But to just wrap up Paul Skeens with a bow right here, I am very much looking forward to his start on Friday evening, and I'll be sitting at home and watching.
Can I add icing to your bow? I'm excited for his start too, and that's my opinion.
Because here's the reason why. He's going to be pitching against a lineup that's already seen him. So now it's going to be okay, is it going to be a chess match? Okay, because they're not going to be in awe of how fast he throws a ball because they've already stood in the batter's box and seen it.
Good point. Hey, one other thing. My son Drew has his 33rd birthday on Friday night.
Happy birthday, Drew.
We'll be at Monterey Bay looking out at the city, and if there's a TV on, we'll be watching the Buccos. We got a couple comedians. Paul Haley said, I have socks older than Nick. John Donatelli said, haha, the vast majority of my ties are older than Nick, too. Then Paul Haley, Chip, did Bill Madlock get a Golden Glove?
Not as a Pirate.
Not as a Bucko, I thought. Yeah. All right, we got that covered. We're skipping on location. We only have a tentative on location with Monsville, West Virginia. I'll find out this week if we're going to do boxing in the haunted prison in Monsville next week. So we'll see about that. But, I just wanted to thank all of you for watching. A lot of great comments and stuff like that. And here's the thing. What would they do if they saw Nolan Ryan pitch today?
They might have an easier time because more players throw that hard.
No.
Might be more
But
prepared
what
for it.
his record and not striking people out, throwing wild. What would they do with Sandy Koufax? I'm stuck on this old school. Look at Bob Feller. What was he, 16 years old? And look at the career he had. Mm-hmm. And people's expectations, like you say, how about dealing in realistic?
We're just absorbing the moment, like I
Well,
said.
that's what I'm thinking. Be more realistic.
It is realistic to have some high expectations of Skeens.
Okay.
But it's also not fair to say that he's going to win a Cy Young and be a perennial all-star and always have a great start every time he goes out. That's
So you got to have a little ceiling with those expectations.
Yeah, like
All
he's
right.
a human being.
As long as you got a parameter, you're saying.
Yeah,
have
like,
some parameters.
even the greats struggled at times.
What?
It happens.
What a concept.
Sarcasm's coming out.
Are actually human beings?
Well,
What a concept.
Hold it. The last ding. We're about running out of time here. Thanks, Smoking Jim. Thanks, Chip. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Steve Fisher came in from out of the blue. He's reviving his career the last 2 out of 3 weeks. Chances here. Marco and Michael, great job in the studio there in the control room. This is Alan Levine signing off saying, please stay Joey strong.